I'm sitting next to Ida Wagari, and I asked her why she enjoyed the program so much. And she said because it's like testimony instead of sermon. So we're going to hope to give you a few testimonies, very short, and then I'll let you go to lunch. So let's start with Ashley Warmington.
Hi, my name is Ashley Warmington. My company is called Cozy Oasis. It's an Airbnb concierge. We pretty much help host through the whole property management process, and one of our goals is to connect the guests with local businesses. What I had learned from the first business that I started was to come in already with a solid strategy, because it's very easy for you to bring your idea forth to people and have them switch around what you want to do, and you're running behind what they want to do with your company. So because I spent so much time with this second company doing research and also executing it, I have actually had clients, which I had a few for the first one, but for the second one I had more practice in executing my idea and building on the strategy and going through trial and error. So when my business was critiqued, most of the information that they were giving me I had known about, but it also just, I was more confident in the information they were giving me. I was able to take it as with a grain of salt and say, here's what I can take and here's what I can leave, and that was like really important. That's something that I learned from the first company.
When I first started, I didn't really have a structure, so I got gently pushed into competitions by Dean Rowe, and that's one great thing about her, is that regardless of where you start, she completely believes in you. So with how people are saying, get people who especially with faculty, she's fantastic with that. And when I did my second pitch, several people came up to me and was telling me, oh, you should focus on women, or you should focus on this route, or do something like that. You cannot let other people tell you what your business is. If you are passionate about something in particular, go after that. So my focus is minorities. There is a problem with minorities knowing financial literacy. Black Americans, they say, are the richest black people in the world because they spend $1.5 trillion every year, and that's just as a consumer. That money is not being circulated among the people. Like, we don't have enough businesses amongst ourselves to really build our own communities. So we're just spending. So that I'm extremely passionate about changing that kind of thinking. Thank you.
My business plan is to start a pilot program focusing on kids grades in elementary and junior high school that would implement African history into the curriculum. Because going to school, African history, we're taught a specific African history, but not the entire African history. Like, the African history that we know mainly started from slavery. I want to implement the history prior to slavery, because I know there was a lot of wonderful things that Africans contributed to society before slavery, during slavery, and even after slavery. So instead of just teaching our children, we have a Black History Month where we learn about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman. I know there's so many more Africans that's contributed to our history. So instead of just having it in a history class, I want it implemented in math, English, literature, arts, music, everything, because our history is so rich that it shouldn't just be watered down to maybe a handful of people. And I know only a handful of people did not contribute to all these things that we have right now. And I feel like if our students, especially Black Americans, know their history, find a sense of identity, then they can contribute to their community much more than they are right now. I feel like if we know our history and it's implemented in everything that we learn, not just Black History Month or just a history class, then I feel like we can change the way we think and the way people think about ourselves.